Hello, fellow human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo rSlash entitled Parents. We have 4 stories in total for you guys today. The first story is posted by /BeccaRM with the title of Let's Exchange Daughters, I Deserve the White Girl. Warning, this story is quite racist and classist, so take all your tolerance and control the desire to beat up this Karen. Although I don't blame you if you can't. Okay, recently it was Mother's Day and I was talking to mom on Skype to wish her happy day and celebrate with her. When we talk about this again, I must clarify English is not my first language, for which I apologize if there are any mistakes. A long time ago, more than 20 years ago, my mother had just joined my father and his family. She was a very hard-working person. She studied and worked, in addition to helping my father's family every time she could. Since she did not have a family, everyone loved her for these qualities. At the same time, my uncle had married a woman. Let's call her Liz. Like my mother, Liz had grown up in a poor and toxic family, but she was not at all hardworking and kind as my mother, nor as beautiful. Liz always envied my mother. She may have been married to a rich man, and I had a better economic position than my mother, but for Liz, it was not enough. She wanted to be admired and loved just like my mother, so she always competed with her. Also, my mom did not know that she was competing until she left the family. Liz always tried to steal credit from my mother or make my father look bad to other family members. And when she did not succeed, she would cry like a little girl so that someone would take her side. One day, my mother announced to the family that she was pregnant. Everyone celebrated, and this angered Liz. A couple of months later, she announced that she was also pregnant, clearly was competing with my mother again. Over time, it became known that both Liz and my mother were going to have girls, and they were very excited. Liz always talked about to everyone how her daughter would be, saying that her girl would have the white skin of her father, the green eyes of her, and brown hair. I do not know where the brown hair would come from, but well, my mother only hoped that I was born in good health. My mother never stopped working, even while pregnant, while Liz stayed home for 9 months pregnant, without doing anything. The first to be born was me. I was born healthy. Liz did not even hold me when I introduced her to the family. She was still talking about her daughter. A few months later, my cousin was born and it was here, when Liz's pride went to the bottom. Her daughter was born very similar to her, with dark skin and straight hair and the brown eyes of the father. Nothing to do with the white girl with brown hair and green eyes that she wanted. Even so, my cousin was beautiful. When my mother arrived at Liz's house, she left me with my cousin in the crib, and while she had coffee with my aunt Liz, she noticed how she paid me a lot of attention. She always approached the crib and tried to play with me, ignoring her own daughter. I was born identical to my mother, with very light skin, black hair, a small pink mouth, and a big brown eyes. Liz always complimented my skin and my eyes, to which my mother was grateful. She also tried to outshine me, to which my mother did not see with favor, since she neglected my cousin and attending to me was my mom's job. One day, Liz approached the crib to see me. She asked my mother if she wanted to swap her daughters. My mom knew she was not joking. Even so, my mom tried to make it look like a joke. Liz insisted, and my mother left her smile. The conversation went something like this. It shows that you like my daughter very much, and I like yours. If we exchange them, we will be happier. I have good and better economic position. I will be able to give her everything she needs. What she needs is her mother. You give your daughter what she needs, and I will give mine the same, but only to my true daughter. I do not intend to give it to you. Your daughter does not seem like your daughter. She adapts more to our family. She has a more dedicated appearance that will fit with our way of life. Do you plan to deprive her of that? Mine, on the contrary, adapts more to your lifestyle. Not it will be difficult to work. Do you know how racist and stupid you just spoke to yourself? I'm not racist. I'm only telling the truth. I need this girl. Besides, there will be no difference. They're almost the same age, and I doubt that family cares. I need this girl for the simple fact of being mine. She's my daughter. I gave birth to her. You plan to deprive the girl of a comfortable and happy life just because of your selfishness? What kind of mother are you? Anyone would be happy to exchange children with me. My mother, already angry about this, ended up screaming at her. A better mother than you, because I fight for my daughter and I do not treat her as an object as you do now. I'll give my daughter everything she needs, and you fill your daughter with a happy life that you presume, but not try to treat the girls as objects. Attend to your daughter, and I'm going with my child, and don't even think of throwing a tantrum over this. My mother and I left that house, and for a long time she did not see or visit me, nor did I let them leave me alone with her. For fear that Liz would have kidnapped me or something, Liz believed that she deserved a white daughter because, according to her, she adjusted more to her status. Yes, as racist and stupid as it sounds. And my mother was selfish for not wanting to exchange. Since then, Liz tried to make life impossible for my mother, bothering her at work and making up accidents, even slander to blame her. She had also stolen some photos of me and presented me as her daughter to her acquaintance and friends, something that was soon known it was a lie when they visited Liz's house. Liz did not mistreat her daughter, but she always yearned to exchange babies. This continued until my uncle and Liz divorced a few years later. She left the country and rarely contacted her daughter. Shortly after the divorce, the kind of person Liz was known, and of course my mother was told about the exchange of daughters. Now Liz was a black stain of our family, and is hated even by her own daughter. No one has ever told my cousin about exchange that her mother wanted to do. P.S. Despite all my cousins and I grew up with sisters and we got along great, I'm very happy to have a mother that I have, and this exchange would never have happened. Having a mother like that is really disgusting, and I'm very sorry for my cousin. Usually, entitled mom is very protective of their children in front of retailers or something. This Karen just hit a brand new low, even rejecting her own daughter, believing that she deserved a better, superior baby that suits her ideal. On to the second story, written by wSlash/MFR1988. My mother, who didn't raise me, thinks she is entitled to a mother-in-law suite when I buy a home. Quick backstory. My mother didn't raise me and her parents did. She has always chosen guys and partying over me and my siblings. This is why CPS has taken all three of her kids away. Once I became an adult, joined the military, she would hit me up every couple of months asking me to give her different sums of money. She works, but it's a BS job. Eventually, I asked her, why doesn't she get a real job? And her response, because I would be miserable doing that. Here I got to talk stuff to people and have fun. Well, that's good if you can pay your bills, but she can't. She's done the same thing to my sister, who was also in the military. Anyway, I talk to her roughly 3 or 4 times a year. Last week, she was asking me when I finish school where I will be moving to. I told her I don't know. Her response was, well, wherever you go, you know I need a mother-in-law suite to stay at. My response was, no I don't. After that, I got bombarded with how many generation doesn't know anything about respect and how I wasn't raised properly. Mind you, I was raised by the same people as her. Also, how my dad wanted an abortion, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. After all that, I said thanks, but I still never going to have an in-law suite for you. Well, enjoy your ducking life, is the last thing she said before hanging up. I'm sure in a couple of months, she will call asking for something again. Well, isn't she sounded exactly like Frank Gallagher from Shameless? She's gotta learn at some point. Always good to be stern and show her you're in control of your life now. On to the third story shared by wSlash/IxyThings. You already have a child. You should sell me your baby. As much as I like this up, I live in the fear of having the opportunity to post here. And yet, here I am with the realization that I have a family that I can talk about in here. Warning, English is not my first language. This is the most manipulative and ugly, literally ugly, racist person I've ever met. I've worked in customer service and do politics in a totalitarian government, so it's safe to assume I've already seen the worst of the worst. She is married to my uncle. Let's call her Mary. Mary has pulled a lot of entitled stunts over the course of her lives. I probably have over 100 stories that I can share that I know of. I don't talk to that part of the family because it's toxic as duck. but there are a few family member gatherings in which we meet. One of those happened yesterday, and I got reminded of her golden traits, so thought you would enjoy some raging with me. Her entitlement was shown yesterday, as she tried to make herself the best friend of my current boss, who's married to my cousin, and he's filthy rich. Brought a friend of hers who was supposed to be strictly quarantined because she's high risk. She tried to outshine the 1-month-old baby who we were all there to meet with her already grown-up daughters who have all met and tried to become the host of the party in a house that wasn't hers, going as far as to search and serve food from the refrigerator that wasn't destined to the party servings. And to top it all off, we were also there to pray for my cousin's mother who died last week. I don't participate in Christian stuff, but she was my favorite aunt and like a second mother to me. So the moment of appreciation was very important to me, to my cousin, my other aunt, and Mary's husband, his sister. Turns out Mary decided that since we were there to remember the dead ones, it would be a nice thing to, not only to take the role of the main person leading the prayers, but to also include a picture, a big one, of her mother that she pulled out from her purse and put it in front of my aunt's picture, covering it almost entirely. And start with a speech of how she missed her mother who died 10 years ago and literally just says "rest in peace" about my aunt's death. But I'm not here today to tell you that story. Oh no, I was just venting. Since I have so much to tell and so little time, I figured it would be best if I start with the oldest tale I know of. The time she asked my mom to sell her my brother while she was 4 months pregnant. Good old Mary is infertile. She has 2 daughters. One was conceived in vitro and then introduced into her womb. The other one popped out of nowhere, literally. We suspect she bought it up from someone since she has a record of trying this, but whatever. Before having her first daughter, when I was around 10 years old, my mom broke the news to the family that she was pregnant. Yay! Mary wasn't happy with this because she, as of then, had been trying for years with her husband and wasn't able to get pregnant. She always had this sort of competition with my mom and with everyone because she has this need of being the best one in everything. She must have the most money, have the most expensive clothes, being more successful in her career, having the happiest marriage, going through the most exotic places, but she wasn't the best. She was the only one with no children of the 7 siblings of the family, my aunts and uncles, and she was also the oldest wives. So imagine her jealousy when the younger one, directly below her husband, was going to have her second child where her and her husband were still child-free. The horror! Her status! So she put my mother aside one day and told her, "You know, it isn't fair that you get pregnant before us. It wasn't fair for you to have OP before your brother, since he's older than you, but whatever, it can't be helped. If OP was a broken condom or something. But you know, we have been trying for years now, and we're just exhausted. And we're not comfortable with trying those artificial methods, nor having a baby without our blood. So since you're family, and we know you're not in a good financial condition to take care of another baby right now, what would you say if I've offered you to pay everything pregnancy related, and after the baby is born, I would pay you X amount for keeping it as your brother's and me's baby?" Of course my mom said no. She told me roughly how the proposition went years later, but only because I was the one that found out why she was so pushy about buying my brother, because this wasn't just a one-time thing. Oh no! She tried constantly, convinced my parents to sell them my brother throughout the next 5 months, even some months after he was born. You see, my father is a son of immigrants. He has European bloodline and is very handsome. Mary also has a need of proving to everyone that she has a royal blood, and aesthetics are everything to her. Hence the need to show herself as the best of the best in every aspect of her life. And she will not hesitate to do anything to achieve her goal of being the perfect woman with the perfect life. This includes pretending she has white genes. She doesn't. We live in a very heavily race-mixed country. She was born in one of the least developed states in a humble family in a small town with only town people that has been working under the sun for generations, so all of them have dark skin. She married to my uncle, who comes from a family that has lived in an island for generations and who is also the most dark-skinned one of all the siblings. There's no way she's going to have a baby who is white. But my mom is the most light-skinned between her siblings, and she married my dad, who has Italian and polished genes, and I was born with a very pale and smooth hair. Mary and her husband's hair are what we describe as bad hair, not in an offensive way, but that's how it's called here. It's basically super twisted and thick hair. There was a big chance my brother was going to be born European looking. You already know where this is going, right? One day I was minding my own business while in their daughter's birthday party, and I happened to wander close to where Mary was talking with someone didn't know her. And I heard how she openly complained about how her daughter was black and how she wished she managed to convince my mom and dad just to give her the baby because having a white son would have solved all of her problem. This is so hard to move up the stairs of the society when you have a black family. And not only that, but having an ugly daughter isn't going to help either. There's no way she will marry a rich man. How is she supposed to pay her retirement? There was more said, but I can't remember it all. And yes, my uncle approves much of her behavior and patronizes it. They, two dark-skinned people, believe in white supremacy. Oh, and by the way, forgot to mention, the daughter popped out of nowhere one day, is white, and looks nothing like Mary nor her husband. What? What is going on? I'm pretty darn sure that random baby is either bought illegally or got kidnapped. Oh my god. On to the final story shared by /ChaosKitten. You can't have bigger breasts than mine. I'm adopted and my adoptive mother has always been very thin. She is currently a size 6 and freaking out that she's morbidly obese. Needless to say, I did not have the best relationship to food and weight growing up. I hit the puberty early and blossomed with hips and butt and breasts. By the time I was 14, I was 130 pounds with rather large breasts. I was measured as a triple D at a bra store. My mother refused to believe this and completely freaked out because it was utterly unreasonable that I'd have a bigger breast than her. I would have to cup my breasts with my hands to prevent them from spilling out of the bra when I bent over. I couldn't run or jump with them bouncing out. My mother thought this meant that I needed an underwire bra, and so she bought me a bunch and insisted I wear them rather than be less painful non-wired bras. Do you have any idea how uncomfortable it is to be wearing an A cup when you are a triple D? I literally have scars under my breast, and it is sides of them, from the underwire digging in so deeply. It's been years and I'm still not over it. I'm still very bitter and upset. Every time I look at myself naked in the mirror, I see those scars on my side and I get angry. Well, sounds like this Karen has a huge jealousy issue over chest size of all things. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Dank Doggo appreciates your time. If you enjoy our content and want to see more of us, stay tuned and subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button and ring the bell, or Doggo will cry. Also, you can always tell us your friendly neighborhood doggo your experiences in the comment section. I'll catch up with you guys later in the next video.